Hi, my name is Leo and I'm a food addict. You might not be able to tell that right now by looking at me, but I've spent all of my life being morbidly obese up till now, and most of that time being double or more of my ideal weight. Um, I wish I had made this video for a couple of years ago when I was at my heaviest, but I guess I didn't have the strength to do that at that point. So I'm gonna do it now. You can see who I am and what I've looked like from my thumbnail, for example, and some signs I can show you right now are my loose skin, for example, and I hope you know that I wouldn't be talking about this if it wasn't from my own experience. I recently started this life transformations channel, and the purpose of it is mostly to help people to improve their own lives, as I've managed to do with mine. But this video is going to be very different. This video is not about weight loss, is not about diet or exercise. This video really is about morbid obesity as a whole, and really mostly addressed to people who know someone who is morbidly obese. Because the truth is that there is many people that maybe want to help people who are in the situation that I was in, but they don't know what to do. So I used to weigh 210 kilos. That's 463 pounds, and that's at 175 centimeters in height, or 5'9". So I've been very, very heavy, and that is the way I've lived basically all of my life. I have some insights that hopefully can help you understand the mind of a person who's in that situation. So first of all, if you have someone close to you who is at double the body weight they want to be at, I'm sure that if you care about them, you want to help them. What I hope to provide for you is some understanding of what is going to help, what is not going to help. If we start at the beginning, what is food addiction? It's the same as any other addiction. I guess the only difference, as it has been pointed out to me from some people, is that unfortunately you cannot just stop eating food altogether, right? So it's always going to be a part of your life. You can, for example, completely stop taking drugs or completely stop drinking alcohol and keep living your life. So that is possible to do, right? With food, it's not quite the same, because it's something you need to survive, but that you need to completely change your relationship with. But today is not about that change. Today is about that condition and how that works and how it feels. Why are people addicts? The answer is very different for different people, but I think there is one common denominator, and that is you don't see a bright and meaningful future in front of you, and you need to feel better today. That's the way it was for me. Okay? Many things have gone wrong in my life, and I just was at a point, especially a few years ago, when I didn't really see a positive future for myself. And the only way to survive that was to make myself feel better by eating, by making myself full. The feeling of being full was the only thing that made me feel better for the moment. So that's what I did. Your next question is, of course, okay, but didn't you know that it's bad for you? Doesn't an alcoholic know that it's bad for them? Doesn't a drug addict know that it's bad for them? It's the same thing, just in a different form, right? So first of all, if you know someone is morbidly obese and your instinct is to tell them to diet or exercise, um, or tell them that they need to lose weight, or think that they need some kind of intervention, I'm sorry, but you couldn't be more wrong. That person is reminded every second of their life that they should lose weight. Every time they try to move as everyone else and they can't. Every time they're trying to put on socks or shoes even. Every time they are in public and people stare at them and people look down at them. Every time they interact with people and people treat them differently and judge them. Every time they are not able to do things that they want to do in their everyday lives, right? They're reminded when they want to buy clothes, when they want to travel, when they have to feel guilty about taking up 2 seats on the bus. You know, the list is endless. I could go into so many details of the struggles of the everyday life of being that heavy. So if you think that they need to hear from you, that they should lose weight, I'm sorry, you are completely on the wrong track. So if you want to know how you can help them, you're not going to like my answer, but it's the truth. And the first step is that you need to ask yourself, do you actually want this person to be successful in their lives and to be happy? Or is it only on the condition that they focus first on losing weight because that's what you think they need? So let's agree that, of course, losing weight and getting in shape is something that will be a huge benefit to them, and it's something that they would need at some level. Okay, let's agree on that, on that basis. However, when I was at my heaviest, weighing 210 kilos, 463 pounds, I'm right now at 95 kilos, 209 pounds. But when I was at my heaviest, being that heavy was not in the top 10 of my problem in my universe. It was a result of my problems. Everything else in my life was not going as I wanted it to. So I turned to food as comfort. And I needed it. I needed it. That's the way I felt. I felt that I needed it to survive. So if you want to help that person, you need to stop seeing what is immediately in front of you. Because people around me would always think that they had me figured out. They always told me, oh, but you know what your problem is, right? You know your problem. Your problem is that you're fat, right? That's your problem. If it was that simple, that would have been great. Okay? But that was not the real problem. That was just a result, an effect. So for me personally, I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life, from depression, from loneliness, from poverty, um, to accumulating, unfortunately, quite a big amount of debt and dealing with that. And there is a lot of things that didn't go the way I wanted them to, right? Personally, I'm gonna reveal what do I feel my biggest failure is and what my biggest goal and motivation is at the same time. Um, some people close to me know this already, some people don't, but for me, what is the most important in my life has always been that I want to build a big and stable and healthy family. That is what I want to do. Uh, we had a hard situation when I was growing up, and I don't blame my parents. I don't blame anyone for anything in my life. And but I didn't have the I didn't grow up, I guess, in the happy, stable environment that I wanted to. That has created a drive in me to give someone else everything that I didn't get myself. So for me, my biggest motivation, my biggest goal in my life is that I want to create a big, stable, happy family. That's what I want to do with my life. And of course, then maybe you understand that when I was at my lowest, then I had completely lost hope that that would ever happen. So, what was the first step back from that? Was it start to lose weight? No, no. I've had to work on my own issues. I've had to seek help. And the biggest part of the work has been learning to find love for myself and to find hope for my future. And actually, the first step was convincing myself that my goal was possible even where I was at that point. So even though it would have been extremely unlikely, I had to convince myself that I could find someone, I could build a family with the body I had at that time, with the life I had at that time, that it was at least possible. It was unlikely, but it was possible. So finding that little bit of hope is what really drove me to start taking charge of my life. Just having some hope for your future, holding on to it as hard as you can, and just keep going. Is there any guarantee that I will succeed with what I want to do? No, there is no guarantee. That's how life works. But I know today that I'm working as hard as I can on every front, both on my physical and mental strength, and I'm working hard on my finances as well, which hasn't been easy. And I'm trying to build a stable foundation that a family can be built on. So that is what I've been trying to do. And that means that if you know someone who's morbidly obese, talking about their weight, talking about diet or exercise is the wrong thing to do. You need to understand, what do they want from life? What is their goal? What are their hopes and dreams? What is their, maybe what they feel is their biggest failures even, or problems? That's where you need to start. And you need to be honest about wanting to help them no matter what they do or don't do with their weight. Again, we all agree it would be great for them to lose weight. But you cannot start there, okay? And you cannot decide that for them either. When it comes to the how to lose weight, that's not the biggest issue. And I'm making this channel mostly to help with the how, because I know there is many people who look for those answers. So I will still try to help and do everything I can. If you are there and you're trying to find out what to do with diet and exercise, I will do my best to help you and to give advice. But the how comes later. The first step is understanding, what do you want from life? And convincing yourself that it's possible, that it's doable. How hard it may be. So I want to touch a bit on the body positivity movement. I think you all heard about this, and I think there is several slogans like big and beautiful, healthy at every size, and this and that. And I think it's a movement that started with a really good intention and purpose. It has, though, some big flaws in my own opinion. I see myself as a realist, so neither an optimist or pessimist. I see myself as a realist. I try to observe things for what they are as much as I can. So I think the purpose of the body positivity movement is to help people feel good about themselves, even though they are in a bad situation where most of the world lets them know that they are not good as they are, right? So the part which is correct to address is that being morbidly obese doesn't mean that you are inherently lazy, that you are inherently a bad person, or anything like that. It's just a condition you're in right now, okay? Or maybe that you've been your whole life like I have, but it doesn't define you as a person, even though that's the way it feels. So the body positive movement had the intention to make sure that you know your value as a person in spite of that, right? Where it goes wrong, of course, is when it goes overboard to the wrong side of things, because to achieve people knowing that they can be, that knowing that people have their own value and they're good and in unrelated to their weight, it doesn't have to go to the side of saying that being double or triple your ideal weight is healthy and good for you. So I think that's where the body positive movement goes wrong. It's that's not helpful. I think that honesty is important. Teaching people self-love is also important, but it shouldn't come from a lie. So I think that just people want to be seen as individuals. They don't want to be seen as a label. And when you are as fat as I've been most of my life, ironically, you as a person become invisible behind that. People only see what they see. And there are many other people who are suffering more in silence, you can say. Because sometimes maybe someone who is an alcoholic or a drug addict might be able to hide it better than someone who's a food addict like me. Because with me, it was always very visible. I was enormous, so people would see that. But they don't relate it the same way, right? So they don't understand it's an addiction. They don't understand it's something deeper. I don't want to make this video too much longer. I've already talked for a while here. But I think you're starting to understand the concept of what I'm trying to say. If you know someone is morbidly obese and you really, really care for them and you really, really want to help them, then don't focus on their weight. Show them love as a person. Show that you care about what they care about. Ask them what their goals are. Ask them what they think is most important to solve in their lives. See if you can do anything to help with that. Be there for them. If you try to push a certain diet, push a certain exercise, push something onto them, this is how it translates in the mind of someone who has been morbidly obese their whole life. Whenever someone was trying to push me to lose weight, push me to some type of diet or exercise, all my mind could do is translate that to say, I'm not good the way I am today. Not just my weight, it will translate into my own feeling of myself, my own image. So whenever someone told me, you need to change, you need to change, you need to lose weight, okay. I translated that into meaning, I am not okay, I'm not acceptable the way I am, I'm not good enough. So that is what you're going to achieve if you push someone in that position. It might be different for someone who just temporarily got a little heavier, like 10, 20 kilos, pounds, whatever, right? Might be different, but even in that case, I don't think for many people pushing or bullying them into changing is going to really help. I think for the vast majority of people who have a problem with food and with weight, showing them that you care about them, about what they care about what they want from life, and helping them believe that they can achieve what they want, no matter of their weight, that is the best starting point and your best chance of saving their life. So I hope this was helpful, and I'm just talking from my own experience. Everyone's life is different, but I think there is a lot of things which are in common with other people in that situation. So I hope you took this information in, and I genuinely hope that this can help save someone's life. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a great day.